It's got two parts to it. The first is what do we mean by constructivism? It's based on this term. And constructivism is really quite simple. Okay, it's basically saying that we build up our knowledge through our experiences. And so I may experience things different to you guys. So you will have different experiences and you're starting from a different point to me. And the important thing for a lecturer is to try and understand where students are coming from, where you want to get to, and it might be different starting points for some in the classroom than others, and being able to chart an effective path for all those students towards where you want them to get to. So constructivism is about the fact you all come with different backgrounds, different experiences, and you build your further knowledge based on that experiences. And for a lecturer, it's knowing where you're starting from is key. So like just a minute ago, I said some of you know blues, but perhaps some of you don't. So I've got a feeling of where your starting points are. And that's why really I had to go through it again, because I didn't want to lose those that didn't know about it. I might still have lost your hope. So this little diagram just shows you the sort of knowledge building up as we go through experiences based on our past experiences. So I see myself as a facilitator of learning, trying to find out where you're starting from and guiding you in the most effective way to where I want you to be. Okay, so constructivist alignment, the word key is alignment here. Again, sounds posh, sounds big, but it isn't really. It's basically saying that when we design our programs or design our units within there, the modules, that what we intend our students to do, the learning outcomes, what we want them to be able to do at the end, we make sure we assess that, and only that. We are aligning our assessment to what the students are expected to be able to do at the end. So we don't give them an assessment that tests their written skills when one of our objectives, there's no objectives that talk about presentation in written form. May I be able to present something effectively in written form? We are not, if we're not assessing it, we don't assess it. If we have a learning outcome we need to assess, we do assess it. So there is alignment between assessment and our learning outcomes, what we want our students to be able to do. So I've already mentioned learning outcomes, that should be. I'm sorry, I put objectives in there. And that is wrong. It's learning outcomes. Sorry, please do change that because that's different. The definition of intended learning outcomes for a given block of learning, i.e. a module, what the student should be able to do at the end of that module is really important. Because if we can't do that, we can't know whether our assessment is aligned to it. So we want to get our intended learning outcomes right, so we can link then our assessment explicitly to those learning outcomes. So our assessment is designed to demonstrate intended learning outcomes achievement. Did the students actually achieve those learning outcomes we intended for? There is another little bit to constructivist alignment, which is not only the assessment being aligned to the learning outcomes, but we also make sure our teaching methods are as well. We know what our students, we want them to do at the end. If we want them to be able to demonstrate practical, be able to write a program, a computer program, then what's the point in me just standing up and talking about how to write it? The best way for them to learn that is to do it, isn't it? Yeah? So constructivist alignment is not just about assessment being aligned to learning outcomes, it's about how we teach as well being aligned to those learning outcomes. Now, all our modules and programs at DMU have to demonstrate constructive alignment. Part of the validation process of a new program is that I look for that in the documents that I receive. And I will then go back to people and say, can you change this? Can you revise this? I don't believe this is doing this. Can you sort it? Right, time is going. So, the way we design our programs at De Montfort is we specify the program. It's a written specification where we define the program, what it's intended to achieve, okay, what skills and knowledge we expect our students to have. It's based on the level descriptors, so we expect level 6 programs to reflect level 6 descriptors, the FAQQ ones. Then there will be a series of module specifications that make up the program, and they themselves need to reflect those levels and also constructive alignment. Alignment, matching together. Okay. So if they mismatch, it's not aligned. Yeah. We do also require people to show on another piece of paper how each module works toward achieving the program outcomes. So there's a mapping as well. So we have module specifications, program specifications, and a mapping that shows how the modules match to the program. Okay, so module specifications, and this is where we're going to focus in on for your activity, okay? As you can see, I've given you a pack of written stuff, and on the front sheet is an example blank module specification. Okay, so we're just going to look at modules. Okay, there's lots of learning, but make up our course, the program. If you look on this, because you're going to be seeing some that are actually completed in a moment, so you need to be aware of how it's done. So if you look on this, you'll see at the top it says, the first section says basic module information. And this is housekeeping. It's the stuff that we need to know, the title of the module, what level it is running at. Is it level 4, 5, 6 on an undergraduate program, for example? How many credits it's worth? Now, credits are basically what a student has to gain a certain number of credits at certain levels to get their award at DMU. And typically our modules are around 30 credits each, but could be 15s, or could even be 60 in some cases. There's a bit about different things to do with where the module is stored, which body looks after the module. That's our program, the owning department there. Which semester it runs in, or does it run over the whole year? So year long. Who is the module leader? Is there any modules that you have to take in order to, before you can take this one, prerequisites? And does it have any maximum student numbers? Is there limits on how many you can have on a module at any one time? And finally, does it include any global assessment? Global being international. So is there an international element to the module, and is that assessed? That's that last box there, yes, no. Then we come to the actual assessment, the learning outcomes, and the description of the module will go in here as well, an overall description. Learning outcomes, what the student should be able to do at the end of the module, how it's assessed, and any sort of notes to go with that, and finally something called teaching and learning hours. Your overall description, intended learning outcomes, and they must be explicitly linked to assessments. Which assessment will actually evaluate which learning outcomes? Assessment details, including reassessment. If the person fails, what happens? That's reassessment. How we might deliver it, so there's the other alignment thing. The teaching methods we'll be using. And including some idea of how many student hours we would expect on this module. At De Montfort, we say every credit is worth 10 hours of student time. So 15 credits would be worth how much?